Hello and welcome to the Fixit Shed. So this week I'm going to be working on my 2002 Honda Rebel 250. So it's 20 years old. It may or may not have had brake fluid changed in those 20 years. It's looking a little bit dark, so I'm going to change it out and make sure I have good fresh brake fluid. Alright, so I'm going to cover this tank just because brake fluid will peel the paint off of anything very, very quickly. So I want to protect the tank as much as I can, just in case there's any splashes or drips. I want to keep it off the painted surfaces. I did take off the mirror over here. That's just to make it easier for the camera work. You don't need to do that if you're changing your brake fluid. Alright, so let's remove the cover. These are probably JIS screws, but I'm just going to use a Phillips because that's what I have. Okay, these can be a little bit stiff to open up if they haven't been opened in a long time. It's not too bad. Okay, you do, if there's any dirt or grime around this, you do want to clean it before you open it up. Mine is really clean, so we're good to go. Alright, and now I'm going to very carefully remove the lid. Okay, that's off. And then you have this plastic sub lid. And again, I'm trying to be very, very careful with everything because I don't want to splash brake fluid around. There we go. And now you have this rubber seal that needs to come out. And if this is at all deformed, you would want to get a new one. This one actually looks in pretty good condition, so I am going to reuse it. There are some people that say that you should always replace it every time you open the master cylinder. So if you feel more comfortable doing that, feel free. So you do also want to make sure that your handlebars are in a position where this master cylinder is as level as possible, even if you want to loosen these screws and twist this a little bit. Mine's pretty level right about there, so we're going to go with that. So as you can see, that brake fluid was actually getting fairly low. It also is a little bit dark. It should be almost clear. It's definitely time to flush it out and fill it up. So I'd rather not spend time pushing bad brake fluid through the system, so I'm going to use this little syringe to try and remove as much of it as I can. And I just have an old bottle of brake fluid that I'm going to empty it into. That looks like coffee in there. I think that's about as much as I'm going to suck out with the syringe. So now I'm going to use a towel and try and wipe out the rest, whatever I can, soak it up. Clean around the edge here. Alright, that's looking pretty good. So now we can add some fresh brake fluid there. Alright, I chose to get .3 brake fluid. So you could, the cover on the master cylinder says that you can get .3 or .4. The difference is .4 can withstand higher temperatures. So if you have a big heavy touring bike and your brakes could potentially heat up, you're going to want to use .4. So if you have a sport bike where you're going to be decelerating rapidly and using those brakes hard, you're going to want to use .4. This bike is neither of those. So I'm going to be using it just for my daily commute to go back and forth to work. Top speeds are around 45, 50 miles an hour. It's 10 minutes away. So these brakes are not going to be used hard, so I went with the .3 brake fluid. So I also picked up a one-man brake bleeding kit just to make my job a little bit easier. So since the caliper is on the left-hand side and the brake master cylinder is on the right-hand side, rather than having to reach across the bike and operate the brake and and open and close the bleeder valve, I'm just going to use this, and I think it'll make my life a little bit easier. Okay, so first I want to get the brake bleeder kit set up. Alright, so it gives you a couple of hoses to choose from and a couple of fittings here. So I have no idea what these fittings are for, so if you want to add a comment and let me know where these would be used, that'd be great. So it also comes with this little magnet, so you can hang it right there. All right, so I'm going to remove. There's a little rubber cap over the bleeder valve. That's keeping it nice and clean. You really want to make sure that that's there. All right, so now I've got a plastic clear vinyl hose. All right, that's ready. All right, now I'm gonna slip my wrench on here. There's that, and then attach the hose to the bottle. All right, so now I'm just gonna poke a couple of small holes in the bottle. Okay, and we're going to try very carefully to pour. I'm going to pour some into the reservoir. So now the reservoir is filled up. Like this could be at a better angle. So that's a little bit more level now. So now we want to open up the bleeder valve down by the wheel. All right, so now I'm going to open the bleeder valve down here. All right, and so that should be open. Now I'm going to squeeze the brake lever. And I'm keeping my eye on the reservoir for the master cylinder to make sure that it doesn't get low. Okay, just adding a little bit brake fluid. And you can see that brake fluid is starting to get clear. All right, so the hose here is pretty clear. I'm going to close the valve. That seems good and tight. All right. And then we're gonna, take that off. All right, so you can see how dark that fluid was compared to the nice light fluid that we have now. So with that valve closed, I can take this off. There we go. All right, we can put the cap back on. Okay, so now that we've closed the valve, I'm going to fill the reservoir one last time, and you can kind of see a ridge on the side, and that's the full mark. So I'm going to pour this until that reaches that line right there. All right, so now we're ready to put the diaphragm back in, or put the new diaphragm in if you bought a new one. And this plastic cover, the outer cover. we can replace those 2 screws. Alright, that's good and snug. So brake fluid absorbs moisture out of the air, so when you're doing your brake fluid change, just use as much of it as you need to, because the rest of it you're just going to end up disposing of. So you can't really put this on a shelf and store it, it'll just go bad. So you want to make sure anytime that you're changing out brake fluid, you're using a fresh bottle. Alright, so now that you've changed out the brake fluid, you should have a nice firm pedal. If it feels at all spongy, you may have gotten some air into the lines, and you'll need to bleed it again to try and get the air out. But mine feels good and firm, so I think that's a success. So if you got something out of this video, be sure to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Take care. Really?